Greetings from the underworld. We are back with another episode of No Player Connected, joined again by the all-knowing Stelle, who's ready to drop knowledge bombs on us today. Stelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, James. How are you?
Listen, we had this conversation. You don't need to put on a front. It's early
You're
in
the one
morning.
who just asked me, James.
Yeah, I know, but we're like right before this answer, we're like, yeah, I'm tired. It's early. I'm doing swell, Stelle. I'm glad you're doing great, too.
I'm putting on a professional front, James.
I would like to preface this episode for you and the folks listening that I've made significant progress in Hades. I initially thought that I just had to beat the big man himself. I now realize that there's way more to do, and I've dipped my toes into it. But Stelle, you can spoil what you want to spoil. I won't be hurt by it at this point. I'm pretty engrossed in Hades, but I can't say that I've comprehensively done everything, seen everything. So I may have some questions that I get blindsided by the answer to. That's totally cool. Answer the stuff how you want to answer it, but just assume this is coming from somebody who has only beaten the titular character once. I'm definitely going to play more, but I was just excited to talk about the game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, as soon as I beat the god Hades once, let me just really etch this in stone, I immediately told the first human that I could communicate with, and I was very excited.
Nice.
Stelle, what is Hades? I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse. We've talked about the end of the game, not even the end of the game, before the start of the game. What is Hades? What kind of game is it? Why should people give a hoot?
Hades is a roguelike produced by Supergiant Games. You're playing as Zagreus, who is the son of Hades the god, in his quest to escape Hades, the realm of the dead.
In Hades the game.
In Hades the game, thank you. When you sent me the list of questions, you said, how would you pitch this game to someone? And I went and talked to the person that I have pitched this game to, and said, hey, what did I tell you about Hades when I was trying to get you to play it? And she said you talked about the characters and the story. So apparently the way that I would pitch this game to someone is not to mention the gameplay at all, which feels very on brand to me. I like Hades because it's really character focused and it's an interesting story. And I know you said this feels like a very uncharacteristically Stelle game.
Yeah.
So, that's why I like the characters and the story.
And they are good. I love the little guys that you run into.
They're so good. There's so much dialogue in this game that happens in, specific circumstances that you might never get to, but it makes it feel really like they're reacting to the things that are happening. Hypnos says different things when you die in different ways. It's fun. Yeah,
so I don't know if I'd call it dungeon crawlery, because I think that describes a specific type of RPG, but yeah, isometric perspective, kind of like hack and slash type game. You get different boons from different gods. They customize your abilities as you make your way through your escape attempt out of Hades, from Hades, in the game Hades. Yeah, the characters are amazing, and like you said, yeah, they'll comment on if you got a power up from one god before another god, and I'm like, why did they didn't need to go this hard? That does seem like you to omit the gameplay.
Well, and I just did it now. You had to explain the gameplay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, well, okay, when I said it didn't seem like a Stelle. When I think of you, I think of Nancy Drew.
Naturally.
Echo the Dolphin.
Naturally.
Some nice, relaxing... But Hades is like a big booming voice from the sky. Hades yelling at you, oh, wretches, get him. And then a bunch of freaks come and attack you, and there's bombs flying, and there's skeletons, and it's very hectic sometimes. And so, yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, this... dear sweet Stelle would never play such a barbaric game as this. There's not even a puzzle to solve. And then, yeah, you're like, yeah, I beat Hades, and I've, 100% completed the game.
That's not true.
Yeah, you pushed me over on the playground and told me I was only halfway through.
We met up at a playground for the express purpose of me pushing you over. It's fun to do hack and slash stuff sometimes. I just don't talk about it as much as I talk about Nancy Drew and Echo. I've got a brand, James.
You do. You really do. This is the dark side.
The dark Stelle.
That is a good description of the game, though. It has a nice story, and I would say that I probably wouldn't have continued playing if I didn't care about the characters and the dialogue. I think I tried playing this on stream once, and due to the nature of that, I was kind of speeding through whenever characters were talking, because I wanted to talk with my chat and stuff. And I eventually got burnt out because it is this loop of you die, you get a little bit stronger, you go again, and you keep doing these attempts. But the dialogue helps make that pill a little easier to swallow. Yeah, I got my ass kicked and I have to do it again, but now some different characters are going to say different stuff, and I want to see what they're all about. And different characters show up that you didn't see before. And so it's a lovely carrot for players to chase while they're getting beaten into the ground over and over again.
It really is.
I wish Dark Souls did that. I wish when you got beat to a pulp by a boss, somebody says something slightly different to you, and it's not just the exact same miserable walk over to the giant demon king of hell land. Maybe even some of the people could be hot that talk to you. That's another thing that Hades could really impart onto Dark Souls. Everyone's beautiful in this game.
Much more beautiful than Dark Souls.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say it, but Dark Souls is getting destroyed in the hotness category by Hades.
You hate to see it.
Oh, well.
You love to see it?
Yeah, I love to see it. Yeah. What do you think of their take on the different mythological figures that you run into?
I think so. I mean, they executed it in a way that I personally enjoyed it. The cool thing about mythology is that there isn't one right story. It all started as oral tradition, and that's shaped by the people who are telling it. It changes every telling. It's very malleable. There are some things that are mainstays of the character, the story, Zeus is king of the gods. He does lightning stuff. But other things can change. And, they're playing with it in this game. So there's, this throwaway bit that I'm sure you haven't got. Wait, did you meet Orpheus?
Yeah, I have, the depressed court musician.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to defend my street cred. Of course I met Orpheus.
Okay. Did you make Orpheus happy again?
No.
So you can find Eurydice, who is Orpheus's lost love, just hanging out in Hades, the realm, in the game, Hades, and reunite them, and it's very sweet, and then Orpheus is less depressed. But so, there's this throwaway bit where, Zagreus is telling Orpheus, all these tall tales about what he's been up to, I killed the Hydra without breaking a sweat, I did all these cool things. And Dionysus talks to Zagreus and is hey, let's play a prank on Orpheus. And so Zagreus tells Orpheus a story that he and Dionysus are actually the same god, just to prank him. And that's a reference to the beliefs in Orphism, which, as far as I understand, I am not a Greek mythology religion scholar, is the religious practices that kind of focus on Dionysus. It's named after Orpheus. In the Orphic hymns, Zagreus is another name for Dionysus. And so in the game Hades, Orpheus goes on to write a song about Zagreus Dionysus, who does all these things that Zagreus has been lying to him about. And Zagreus hates this song, and it's very funny. And I like to think that Orpheus was just kind of pranking them right back.
That rules.
The point of that digression was they're having fun with the mythology, which is cool.
Yeah, I like Poseidon being a fun uncle.
Yeah.
I think that's silly. I like that Zeus isn't he's still an overconfident, he's not like an asshole like in almost every other rendition, I think. Like, he's friendly. He's a little friendly to you. I'm struggling to find words for it because I'm so used to the overdone, like, haughty, proud gods that look down on you. Like, they occasionally will look down on you a little bit, but for the most part, like, they're like, hey, nephew or cousin, I'm here to help you get out of here.
Yeah.
Here's a thing that makes your attacks better.
And, like, it's a really big dysfunctional family, but it's a family, and they've found out about this new member of their family, and they just want him to be safe and happy. And that's really sweet. Yeah,
and it's so, like, I think one of the things that really hooked me too, and this is a spoiler alert for Hades, we're really getting into it now.
Yeah, this is the first thing that we've said that's definitely a spoiler for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, retroactively skip ahead to minute 16. Hear me give the spoiler warning, people, in the beginning of the episode. When you talk to Nyx and you're like, you're not my real mom, what the hell? And then, like, you have this talk where Zagreus is upset, understandably, because they didn't tell him who his, like, birth mother was, and Nyx is, like, really supportive of him still, and so it isn't, like, a black and white, like, gods in the underworld, bad, Olympian gods, good. There's, like, some nuance. Like, some people in the underworld are also trying to help Hades get out. Thanatos, even though he's a fucking stick in the mud, is like, yeah, I'm trying to help you get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he rules. I wish Meg would be nicer to Zagreus, but I know it's her job to be mean to him. I love the Furies. I love all of them. I love them to death.
So, like, Meg still, tries to kill Zagreus every run because that's her job. Every run that her sisters aren't showing up. But she mellows out as you go on with things.
Okay, how long does it take for her to mellow out? Because I
don't remember.
I'm on, like, attempt... I think I'm, like, in the early 20s. I think my 21st or 22nd attempt I escaped. And she still seems a little pissed. Especially since she brought all of her sisters, or one of her sisters, to help, I think. I can't remember if it's all three. All three of them were in the room, but I only noticed two in the actual fight.
I think when you were doing the Pact of Punishment thing, the heat.
Yeah.
I think only one of them, like, really helps out.
Oh, okay. Is it like attempt 100 Meg calms down a little bit?
Well, like what we were talking about before with so much dialogue and so many options, it's not like a specific thing that any of this happens on. It's a, did you meet the right conditions and nothing else is happening that would be dialogue about that instead, sort of thing. And also, I think probably when you give Meg ambrosia and nectar, she starts, being more friendly with you.
I'll just keep bribing her then. That sounds good.
Yeah. Bribe people into friendship and love.
Yeah. When you mentioned nothing else happening, I had a really weird moment where I picked Demeter's, like, keepsake thing. Mm-hmm. So she should have showed up at the beginning of my escape attempt, because I love all of her, like, boons. Mm-hmm. And my first person was fucking Hermes.
Oh, that's weird.
And he even told me. He's like, I bet you were expecting Demeter here. Well, anyway, gotta go. And, like, I was like, whoa.
Oh, that's cool.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me, Hermes. You and I both know. You just admitted that you're not supposed to be here. Yeah, I was a little peeved by that. But it's really cool how... I don't know, something must have been going on. Those ones and zeros in the background determined what was supposed to happen. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Sounds like it.
I'll have to get the conditions right for Meg to not hate me, because I like Meg and I like Thanatos a lot, and I know they don't like me a whole lot right now. So, I have have to work on that. I'm devastated that I can't schmooze with Electo. I think I can fix her. I think she's awesome. But I looked up in the wiki, and it's like, no, you just fight. You fight forever, and you don't get to talk, so...
Electo just wants to kill you.
Which, there's nothing wrong with that.
Tisiphone, who is the Fury who can only say, like, murderer.
Yeah.
You fight her long enough, and Zagreus starts trying to teach her how to say other things, like Zagreus. Aww. And it's really cute.
Yeah. That does sound cute. But yeah, Hades 2, make it so you can be nice to Electo, please.
I don't know that Okay, do you know Hades 2 is happening?
I saw a thing about it, I think.
It's going to be about Zagreus' sister.
Oh.
Who doesn't exist yet as of the time of Hades, as far as we know.
Okay. This is... Yeah, I knew the game was in development because I remember seeing some big announcement, but I did not really register a whole lot because I was like, I'm still playing Hades, don't spoil anything, I don't know anything about this. Oh, damn. These characters look
cool as hell. Cool as Hades.
As hell. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you.
I'm looking at Nemesis right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zooey Mama. Alright, well, that's cool. That's badass. Yeah, the character design in these games is so cool.
Yeah.
Everyone looks badass and beautiful and funny sometimes. Sometimes they're a little goofy. I have one character I don't like.
Ooh, who's that?
I want you to guess. With my fun-hating personality...
Dionysus.
With all my snobbery, it's not Dionysus.
It's not Dionysus. Fun-hating. Fun-hating snobbery. I don't know. Who do you hate?
I hate Skelly.
You would!
Skelly annoys me. I don't like his voice.
I was running through all the gods, but I forgot about Skelly.
Yeah, like in this game where everyone sounds like the voice acting is otherwise perfect and really fits the character and everything. How about we put a little wisecracking skeleton in the game, and he's the training dummy, and he talks like this, and it's like, come on, dude. Oh.
I don't know if you've looked into voice actors at all, but Skelly shares a voice actor with another main character.
Who is it?
Zagreus.
Yeah, well, like, Zagreus is perfect. Why'd you make him do Skelly, too? I hate Skelly. I can't think of anyone else that I don't like, voice acting wise. But I understand that, like, Zagreus is very dignified. It's fucking night and day between him and Skelly. All the good that Zagreus is, Skelly is, like, the demiurge, the evil. And so that does make sense. Maybe that's where he put all of his bad energy into Skelly so that Zagreus could be pure and good. Anyway, this is veering off into a
Maybe they did it just so that you would want to kill him so much.
Oh my god, that might make sense, yeah.
Yeah. You were so focused on wanting to kill him that you didn't think about the reasons why they would want you to kill him.
Yeah, that is true. Well, because you have Hypnos, who serves as your unsolicited advice giver already.
Yes.
And he says his shit, like, right after you die, and it stings.
It does. Sometimes he's encouraging, sometimes he's like, you'll get him next time.
Yeah, but it's always like, hey, watch out for that. And it's like, thanks. I thought I would just run into it next time, Hypnos. And then Skelly will give you, like, even more basic shit. Like, Skelly, I made it to the Hades boss fight. You don't need to teach me about backstabs. I've already got that. Anyway, do you have any favorites or least favorites in this game? This isn't about me. This could be about you, possibly.
Maybe this podcast can be a collaboration.
It could be.
I mean, like, Zagreus is obviously my favorite. But of, like, the gods, Artemis she's just, like, really sweet about just wanting her new cousin to escape and hang out and go hunting and not talk to any of the other gods. It's adorable.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't pick her. I used to pick her boons a lot, and then I don't know, she hasn't been showing up a lot for me. But yeah, she's like a little introvert helper.
She's very cute.
But who do you hate?
Theseus.
I love Theseus.
You would!
He's so fun! He's so fun!
He's funny,
yeah.
But I hate him.
Why do you hate him?
He's such a pompous ass.
Okay, but you don't... It's not like you're living with him. He's just a little guy in a game.
Skelly's just a little guy in a game.
I hate Skelly as a character. I both don't want... If I had to, like, see Skelly in real life, I would fly into a blind rage and attack him, which is the purpose. But I also just think you could have taken Skelly out of the game.
I think you need Skelly as a training dummy.
But Skelly doesn't need to talk. Theseus needs to talk.
Yeah, and Theseus is a great character. I just feel very happy every time I stab him with a sword.
You don't like his little speeches in the beginning of the fight?
Okay, I mean, they make me laugh. But they also make me fly into a blind rage and want to kill him.
I genuinely really do like Theseus and Minotaur, whose name I always
Asterius.
forget. Asterius?
I love Asterius.
Yeah, that's like you get like these touching moments where Asterius is like, yeah, Theseus saved me from Erebus, and so even though we were enemies in life, we're homies in death. He says that. He says homies. It was weird to me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love those two. I used to dread fighting them, but now it's like a nice little treat every time.
I'm just very glad whenever I can kill Theseus. Feel bad about killing Asterius, but I mean, that's his job.
So for those of you that don't know, haven't played Hades, it's like a double boss fight. Like you're fighting both of them. And do you kill Asterius? Or yeah, I guess you do kill them. I mean, they come back, but you are killing them. Do you kill Asterius first every time?
I usually kill Asterius first because he's doing more damage right at the beginning, and Theseus spends a lot of his time kind of strolling around trying to get the perfect, like, shot so you can ignore him for longer. And if you're trying to kill Theseus first, I have a hard time dodging Asterius and the, like, god help that Theseus gets.
Yeah, why the hell does Theseus get help from the gods?
I mean, he's a hero.
He is. And they address that in the dialogue.
Yes.
I recently had Zagreus say, I wish the gods would make up their mind, because they're trying to help me escape, and he's also getting boons. I think the boss fights are incredible in this game, too. Like, at first, at least for me, every boss fight is like, oh my god, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, there's some new gimmick I need to learn, but then, like, it'll click. And then anytime I lose or I die and have to use a charge of Death Defiance, I know that it's like my fault and I did something wrong or my build blows ass. Mm-hmm. And so I really like the boss fights in this game. Do you have any like favorite fight, either boss fight or like the mini boss room thingies?
Let me think, James. I think, okay. I'm trying to separate.
She hates every boss fight.
I'm trying to separate my favorite dialogue around boss fights with the boss fights themselves.
I mean, I'll take both. I'll hear your favorite dialogue around boss fights too.
Okay, well, I don't know if you've gotten there in your runs, but Zagreus nicknames the Lernaean Hydra.
He does?
Yeah, he starts calling it Lerny, and after that, it's not you're fighting the Lernaean Hydra, it's you're fighting Lerny. And he'll say things like, make a big hiss if you agree with whatever I'm about to say. And then it'll do the hiss thing, and he just starts playing around with it, and I think that's very fun every time.
That rules.
Yeah. I think I like the Theseus and Asterius fights the best. I hated them the first couple times I got there. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? But then I figured out how I was supposed to do it.
Yeah, mechanically it's very fulfilling to figure out how the different bosses work. Mm-hmm. Initially, I was like, I barely beat... Oh, fuck. I already forgot the Minotaur's name again.
Asterius.
Asterius. Oh, because he's like a steer. Okay.
No,
okay,
no.
Yeah,
no.
That's how I'm going to remember it. So
okay.
It's called a pneumatic device.
It's not.
So it's called a mnemonic device.
Thank you.
It's called a... It's called the thing that helps me remember a word. I barely beat him on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, yeah, there's a little freak that's throwing a spear at you while you're fighting a Minotaur now. And then after you beat the Minotaur, you should go over and beat the spear guy, and now he's got god powers. So it goes pretty hard.
It does.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that there's one little shade in the audience who supports you while all the rest are supporting the other two?
Oh, I haven't. I very rarely am looking anywhere aside from where Zagreus is.
You can go talk to the shade.
I'm gonna do that today.
Okay.
That's my motivation for today. Go talk to the shade that's... Can you... So you talk to the shade after the fight, I assume?
Yeah, and you just, like, say a little thing, like, thanks for supporting me.
Oh. You'd think the crowd would eventually start to turn.
They never do. Or that they haven't as far as I've gone.
On attempt number 300, 2 shades will support Zagreus in his escape attempt. Do you remember how many escape attempts it took you?
No.
You don't?
I think... And I was thinking about it, and I'm pretty sure there's a way I can go check, but I didn't think about it until, like, after I turned off the game last night, so no idea.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it was longer than, like, 21 or 22, whatever you said.
Alright. Well, that helps my ego, because... Okay, so one of my friends, I think he was lying to me. I know, shocker.
What?
Because I was asking when Hades, like, first came out, and I was like, so guys, how long did it take you to beat the game? Like, and obviously at this point now I realize I'm just talking about beating the final boss, Hades, like, of your escape attempt. And they're like, yeah, it took me like 5 or 6 tries. And I was like, there's something wrong with me as a human.
No.
Then, like, there's no way
No.
I'm this bad at a video game if these guys are killing it that fast. But yeah, then I went on the internet and people are like, yeah, I hear the average is 20 to 30 attempts, but like, hey, it took me 50. Someone else said, like, yeah, it took me 60. And so I was like, oh, okay. This is doable. This is not like I'm grossly incompetent and I will never defeat the big man in his game.
Yep.
I know we talked about the gods and the different favorite characters of yours, and I assume that's more dialogue and character focused, but do you have, like, any boons that you think made the game more fun or easier? What's your favorite, like, buff to get from the gods?
Well, I like Zeus's lightning stuff, and I like Demeter's frost stuff. One that I will, like, always pick when it comes up is Artemis's support fire, which is the one that fires a little arrow, a tracking arrow every time you hit or use your special or cast, because it's just like a little extra bit of damage every time you do something that you don't have to think about. It just works. Oh,
yeah, that one is good. I think I had that on my first time getting to Hades.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was super strong.
It's awesome. It's, I think, probably the one I've used the most. Wait. I did look at my permanent record for that.
She's checking the files, the archives.
I'm checking the files. I am checking the files, because I've unlocked the archive. And I took a screenshot of my files. Yes, I use the support fire the most.
I think my most common one is... Oh, man. At this point, it's starting to be the Athena dash deflect.
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
the deflecting stuff is great.
Yeah, that helps my little Dark Souls brain, where I'm like, oh, roll or dodge, it makes me invincible, so that I'm not just running into shit and dying immediately.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I like... Now, wait, did you say Demeter or Demeter?
I said Demeter.
Okay, Demeter.
Which is also what you said earlier in the podcast.
Yes, I'm just double
because
checking.
that's how they say it in this. And I think it's probably the way you're supposed to say it if you're speaking Greek.
Yeah. Well, they probably say something like crazy that... I don't know what Greek people say. Greek listeners, record yourself saying a bunch of words and send it to us.
A bunch of words?
Okay.
Just like random words?
Well, yeah, and the Greek pantheon.
Okay.
Well, they would probably just call it the pantheon.
Alright,
Anyway.
James.
Is there anything that's useless, or like you don't like these boons? Because I definitely have a few that I've taken that I've been like, I fucking hate this.
I don't think any of them are useless per se, but you can get ones that are useless for like your specific build, and that's always kind of annoying. But you can sell them later on then at the little sell station.
An easy one is one of Dionysus's boons is like give you higher attack potency like after you drink in a fountain.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well if I take this like at the end of my run,
it does nothing.
Yeah, this does stone cold nothing. There are a few.
That's good when you're at the beginning of your run though. So
yes,
it's all
that is
context
true.
Dependent.
And then there's some that are like, it will replace one of your abilities with another version of it.
I never do that, or almost never.
Yeah, some of them I enjoy. There's one where it'll take your quick attack and change it into something a little bit slower, but it hits harder. I almost never take those because I favor being able to attack quickly over some big dumb attack. And so I've dabbled with that a few times, and usually they suck pretty hard. I've had one that like drastically changed how I played, and it was Demeter's, the one that changed the spear's throw to be like, instead of like you throw it and then you retrieve it, you throw it and then it just explodes on impact and you immediately have it again. Okay. That let me beat Hades, because then I just jumped around throwing an exploding spear at him for 5 minutes. And I was like, this kicks ass. This game is fun. I am no longer afraid of my dad. I'm just going to keep throwing an exploding spear at him.
Nice.
Shit, I was supposed to talk about useless boons, and I talked about my most useful one. I don't mind Dionysus the character, but him and like Poseidon, I don't like their boons a whole lot.
Oh, I like Poseidon's boons. Dionysus is very specific. Sometimes I think it's like, I see a Dionysus boon coming up and I don't have any ability to re-roll the room, and I'm like, well, shit.
I avoid Dionysus if I can. If it's between him and Poseidon, I'll even pick Poseidon. Because Poseidons are like, a lot of times it's like pushing people away.
Yeah, and that depends on your weapon and your build.
I think that's a testament to this game, that like there's so many different builds and ways that you can set up your fighting style, that you can have significantly different ways of playing and still get through the game. I did see that there were like some tier lists where people are like, this is actually the best setup for this weapon or that weapon, but like...
Boo. I think whatever works for you is what's best for that weapon.
Yeah, it's all Greek to me. And then I look at the camera.
That was good.
Are there any bits to this that you would say are like unfair, or do you think the difficulty is pretty much on point?
I think the difficulty is pretty much on point. Like, you can get into a bad build, but then it's a build, and you change it next time. And they've got things like you can turn on God mode, which makes you better every time you die, that are there to kind of help you out. It's a little bit of an anti-frustration feature. Every time I accidentally stand in lava, I get grumpy about it, but that's a me thing. That's my own damn fault.
I was gonna say, I don't know if the lava just kind of sits there.
Yeah, but sometimes, you're just dashing around and you don't really notice what direction you're in, and then you realize that you're standing in lava, taking damage.
In Hades 2, we've taken out the lava. It is too unfair. We slurped it all up.
I mean, it's not supposed to be there. It's because whatever the river is, the fiery river, it flooded that. It's not supposed to be lava there.
Is it the Phlegathon?
Yes!
Oh, dude, look at me remembering things.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'm in the fiery pits of Asphodel. Which I thought was supposed to have more greenery to it.
But the Phlegathon flooded it.
Just say that 5 times fast.
I want you to know that in my head I spelled it with a PH for flooded. The Phlegathon flooded.
Phlegathon Flood would be a cool, metal band that does, Greek-themed stuff. Songs,
yeah.
Those are called. When bands do things, those are called songs. I remember.
Sometimes they're called albums.
Oh, fuck. That's also with a PH. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything. I get a little frustrated when I'm in Elysium because sometimes it feels like they just slapped a shield on everything.
Yes, okay, you're right. Yeah, that does get annoying.
And it's not unfair, but I think it's kind of an easy way to make an enemy harder. Because it's basically just, they have more HP and now you can't stun lock them. But stun locking can trivialize a lot of enemies, so I think it's neither here nor there. Maybe make it harder to stun lock enemies, because you can really just beat the piss out of some of these guys, and they're no challenge at all if they're the last one left.
Yeah.
Alright. This is kind of more for me. I mean, the audience, feel free to listen in on this too, but hypothetically, if someone has only beaten the big man once, how much of the game would you say is left, percentage-wise? Please, God, don't say half the game is left.
Oh, more than half!
Oh!
I mean, okay. So, you're 90% of the way through finishing the main quest. But then, you've still got multiple people to make happy, and then there is one more thing which takes a long time to do, where you... Spoilers for Hades post-game. Actually, spoilers for Hades' main quest, too. So, eventually you get your mom to come back down to the underworld, okay?
Ooh. Okay.
But then she's still estranged from all the Olympians, and it's kind of a secret that she's there. So she and Zagreus hatch up a plan to make everything right between the two sides of their family, and that's what takes a really long time.
Oh, interesting. Holy shit. Okay, so I gotta get back in the pit. I gotta keep escaping. Damn, that's good motivation. I'm glad you didn't give too much away there.
Well, thank you.
But I do want Zagreus to see his mom more and have everyone be happy.
Yeah.
They make you care in this game. It's not just a soul-crushing, meat grinder that you run into over and over again.
Everyone's so... Well, I was going to say everyone's so nice, but not everyone is nice. But they're all very interesting.
Yeah. I think everyone's nice.
You think Electo's nice? You think you can fix her? Okay.
She's cool. She's a cool lady.
And I bet you haven't completed or done any of the little side quests like I was talking about before. You can reunite Orpheus and Eurydice, and there's a couple other things like that where you can get people back with people they didn't think they could have a relationship with anymore. Aww. And that's... the whole game is about relationships. Just
It's a dating sim.
Is it?
I don't know. Apparently I've only scratched the surface, so I don't know. Does Zagreus end up with somebody?
If you choose to have Zagreus end up with
Oh
somebody.
my god. Okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything else. Don't say
This
anything
is the
else.
thing that you will not let be spoiled.
Yeah, do not spoil that. That's the one hill I will die on.
If you're playing Hades, you're gonna die on a lot of hills.
Oh yeah. Well, you're underground. Can a hill be underground?
There are hills in Elysium, I think. That feels hilly to me.
Yeah, I guess. I never really thought about it that way. It is all just one big cave.
I guess it all comes down to how we define a hill.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make a declaration that all subterranean hills are actually mounds. So
Okay,
no.
listen to yourself, James. All subterranean hills.
Yeah, well, obviously I have to use surface dweller terminology. Otherwise, no one's gonna. If I said all mounds are now mounds, that means nothing. No one would know what I'm talking about. I'd sound like a crazy person, as opposed to the very sane statements I'm making now.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh, that's
Geologists, cave knowers,
cave knowers, subterranean
spelunkers,
scholars.
tell us if a subterranean hill is in fact a hill.
Yeah, tell us if hills can exist underground. I'm going to phrase this in a way that would make it sound ridiculous, so that they're more likely to agree with me.
I think that makes it... Okay, we won't get into this.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk about the narrator of this game. Let's move on to something important now that I've established what hills are and are not.
You have not established that.
Why did you want to talk about the narrator?
I think it is fascinating that the narrator is the one who spills the beans about Persephone.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. In that cutscene where... Not quite a cutscene, but you know what I mean. Where Hades finds the letter,
Yeah.
the narrator says something like, found out the secret, and Zagreus is like, what? What? Nyx isn't my mom? And it's like, the narrator sets the whole thing in motion. And we don't really know who the narrator is exactly. We just know that that Zagreus calls him old man and talks back to him. A lot of times in dreams, but sometimes while he's awake.
Yeah. I love the ominous things that he'll say, and then Zagreus will undercut him as you're looking at a wall or something in the underworld.
Eventually, when you're, like, even past when you get your mom back into the underworld, you're still escaping, right? So you still go up into the surface, but you don't have nice little cutscenes with your mom anymore.
Right.
So the narrator just starts detailing the ways that Zagreus died, and, like, as you escape more and more, it just starts, like, sounding like you're making shit up. Like, I played a run last night, and the death that I got on the surface was filled with such confidence the prince neglected to avoid stepping on a toxic strain of fungus so rare you not have heard of it. And it's funny. I like the narrator.
So you just casually completed a run last night, and it's like nothing for you now?
Yeah.
Damn. I wish I was as cool as you.
You'll get there.
I've got some training to do.
And, like, there are theories about the narrator. I'm just gonna say that, but I'm not gonna disclose them on this podcast.
Yeah, maybe when Hades 2 comes out, we can visit some of these theories, and when I've thoroughly completed Hades, maybe that'll be an episode 2, now that I am finding out how little I know and how little I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the narrator bit and learning things through narration or other means. That's how I found out, God, what's the guy's name? Is it Patroclus?
Patroclus.
Patroclus? Yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I found that out by looking up the like little journal entry on him, because when you first run into him, he's question mark, and I was like, I know this asshole isn't the Riddler. I'm going to go and look in my little book. And Zagreus even goes like, oh, that's his name. And I'm like, how did you write it in your thing?
He didn't write it in his thing. Achilles wrote the journal, and you see more of it as you unlock it.
Oh, okay. So it's Achilles' journal. It just magically reveals more stuff. Okay. That makes more sense.
And do you know do you know who Patroclus is?
I don't.
Okay, never mind then.
As a child, I noticed how popular the Greek gods were, and so I knew I wanted to be different, and I decided to not pay attention to them at all, or any Greek mythology stuff.
Not a Percy Jackson kid?
No, I was not a Percy Jackson kid. I was pretty firmly just into Tolkien stuff in that era.
You know, you can read both of them.
Yeah, well, on to the next question.
Okay, wait, I want to digress a little bit, because my dad just casually texted me last night and was like, I'm reading Percy Jackson. I think I missed a book. What's going on? And I was like, what? Why are you reading Percy Jackson? And I'm still not sure. He just is.
Okay, well, just doing a little research. I understand it's one of the foremost authorities on Greek mythology these days. Mm-hmm. I have a pretty important question that ties into Hades too, since I think obviously there will be a continuation of a lot of the characters and themes. Do you think society will ever move past portraying ancient or mythological figures with English accents?
No. I mean, it feels pretty ingrained. Like, at this point, I don't know, I think it would feel weird. I mean, they should move on, but I'm not sure they will. Not in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I mean, in Dead Space, there's
God.
people with English accents, and
he's
if you
always got to talk
Greece,
about Dead Space.
If you go back to ancient Greece, they've got English accents. You go to Imperial Rome, that huge, whatever time frame that even is in Hollywood, they've all got English accents. I just want there to be a little bit more. I want there to be some like obscure accent I've never heard of, and yeah, that's just what Zeus sounds like. I think that would kick ass.
It really would.
Yeah, make me look up what a Czech accent sounds like.
Yeah, or just like some obscure Greek accent. Like, they're Greek.
Oh, let's not get ridiculous here. Come on now.
Too far.
I think, Poseidon, I think if we're to draft accents, I think Poseidon should just be some kind of American accent.
California surfer, bro.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. The rest of the nations of the world, put in your picks. Which god will you claim and what accent will you give him? See, I was thinking like just generic, like, I know there's no generic American accent.
Yeah,
I'm saying this in front of you of all people.
Uh-huh.
But some kind of just really loud, boisterous American personality would fit Poseidon as he's portrayed in this game.
Yeah.
Give him a cheeseburger too. But yeah, I like the surfboard thing too.
Thank you.
Would you say Hades is the Dark Souls of the isometric roguelike, combat-heavy, third-person underworld escape genre?
I think it's the Echo the Dolphin of all the things you just said.
Why? Elaborate on that.
Well,
what do you mean by that?
Much like in Echo the Dolphin, a game which everyone is familiar with, obviously, you're seeking to reunite your family, and it's hard.
Wow. It really is the Echo the Dolphin of the family reunion genre.
I mean, Echo the Dolphin is the Echo the Dolphin of the family reunion genre. Don't be ridiculous.
Hades is the Dark Souls of the Echo-dominated family reunion genre.
Yep, that's true.
What I really wanted to get at with this is, since this is a game where you tend to die over and over, but there's a big focus on boss fights and figuring out timing, and the fights almost turn into like a kind of dance between the player and the enemies. When are you gonna play Dark Souls.
Never gonna play Dark Souls.
Really? Because, like, this game, I would say, to me at least, was harder than, like, a good chunk of, like, some Dark Souls games I've played.
Okay, but, like, with this one, dying is part of it in that you're progressing every time you die. You're not doing the same things over and over without progressing until you get better. Your dying is an integral part of it because you unlock abilities, you unlock conversations, you learn new things. Dark Souls, you die, and then you go back to your little campfire or whatever, and then you just have to, like you said earlier, go do the same thing again.
And that, folks, is how you get Stelle to talk about the mechanics of Hades. Compared to Dark Souls.
I've been bamboozled.
I think that is, like, one of the coolest things about this game is that you die and you are rewarded.
Yeah.
You're rewarded with dialogue and you're rewarded with...
Dialogue.
Literally... Okay. Good night, everybody. Yeah, you're rewarded with dialogue and you're rewarded with your character getting better.
Yeah.
So it's really, like, that's one of the coolest things about this game and what makes it unique.
It doesn't feel like a setback so much as it should. I mean, like, you're dying, but it's just part of your journey because, and I think, like, the mythology works so well with that because you're kind of dead already. It's just another day at work for you.
Yeah, it is very fun, like, how normalized it all is. Like, oh yeah, see you later, Meg. You're gonna be my first boss. Hey there.
Yeah.
Have this nectar while we're hanging out. Good luck in the field. I love the little, like, the, what is it, servant of the servant spotlight or whatever, whoever's picture is framed in the tavern area.
That's such a fun little touch.
Yeah, and I like that, like, Cerberus can be up there.
Because he's the best boy. How have we not talked about Cerberus yet?
I was so scared that you'd have to fight Cerberus. And that is such a good, like, subversion of how you... Spoiler alert! For Cerberus enjoyers?
Everyone
and
is a Cerberus
foes.
enjoyer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anyone hates Cerberus. No. Stelle, how do you handle the Cerberus situation? Because Cerberus is, like, one of the final roadblocks you run into in this game. Or in an attempt, when you're doing an attempt.
Mm-hmm. So you see Cerberus, and your heart drops because you have been petting this dog. You can pet the dog, you have been talking to him, and you think you're going to have to fight him. But actually, you're going to trick your way out of it by going in this little warren of rooms and finding a satyr sack, which I don't want to know what's inside it because it smells bad, apparently.
I assume it's just at least one satyr, if not more satyrs in the bag.
Maybe. And then you kind of bribe/distract Cerberus to stop blocking your path. And there's no bloodshed with your favorite three-headed dog.
Yeah, you just give him a satyr snack, and then he wanders away.
Mm-hmm.
I love the message that pops up, too, because it'll alternate, like, I think the first time I did it, it said Cerberus vanquished, and then in parentheses, he's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's nice.
It's amazing.
There's another one that was like, Cerberus vanquished, you did this. And I was like, I did the same thing. No.
And there's one that's like Cerberus distracted with snacks or something. Like,
yeah.
It's just, they're all fun little things.
And you don't know what the game is going to tell you, even though you've gone through and done like 50 attempts. Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to throw some funny zinger at you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a fantastic game. Go play it, everybody. Before Hades 2 comes out. I don't know when that comes out, but
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, get on that.
TBD. In development.
Are you kidding me? They had like a whole ass
2023 early access, according to the Hades fandom wiki.
2023, you say? That's right now. Splendid. All right, well, Stelle, are there any other parts of Hades you'd like to discuss before we wrap this up with a neat little bow?
Have you unlocked the fishing minigame?
I have unlocked the fishing minigame, and I'm very into it.
Isn't it fun?
It's like, after this hair-raising battle, life or death struggle, I want to know what I can catch.
Many things.
I'm in the underworld, but I'm fishing, so I can catch... Yeah, I've caught, like, little fire fishies. I've caught the knucklehead. It's like a skullfish. Yeah, I'm having a ball. They keep adding little things for me to do, and it's so... I don't know. It rules. I wasn't expecting fishing, though.
Yeah.
You know what? That's another fucking thing. Hold on. But I am upset because Okay, so Hermes jumped in front of Demeter, and then Poseidon jumped in front of her, too, to tell me about the fucking fishing pole. And I'm like, you guys can just tell me later. Just tell me later. You'd stop taking up my first boon with, like, haha, nephew.
Maybe Demeter doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, maybe. She seems nice.
So, hang on.
Be nice to me.
You're not a Greek mythology fellow.
Not really, no.
What do you know about Demeter?
I know some stuff. I know she's like... Okay, and some of this is stuff that I've picked up in the game. I know she's the goddess of the seasons, right? Mm-hmm. That's what the game says.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I normally associate her with agriculture. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she was, like, having frost powers was unusual. I was not expecting that.
Okay.
But that's about all. Like, I can't really tell you a whole lot else about her.
Okay.
Alright, is there anything else about the video game Hades you'd like to discuss?
Do you have a favorite weapon?
Oh! The fists. Even though I didn't complete my first attempt with the fists are my favorite.
Fists are fun. Spear's my favorite.
Spear's what I used to finish my first run.
Alright. I think I used the shield for my first finishing run.
The shield is pretty damn good, too. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like the gun. I'm not a big gun guy.
I'm not either. And I hate the bow. Like, sometimes I can make it through with the bow, but I'm not good at aiming.
Your bestie Artemis is not going to be happy with this.
I know. It's upsetting. It's okay. She'll teach me how to be better at aiming.
Yeah, I was worried because I was like, I don't really like the default sword. I don't like the bow. The shield's okay. I hate the gun. And so I was like, fuck, there's like 2 weapons I really enjoy in this. But with the variety of boons that you get that can change your play style, it's still enjoyable. And I'll probably go back to using like the sword and the shield more just to experiment and see what works for me.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you'll get like a Daedalus hammer that will change everything.
Yes, I fucking love the Daedalus hammer.
They're so great. It's fantastic. You just learn new things about what you can do.
The game goes hard.
It does.
The game goes hard.
Alright, is it time for silly questions?
I mean, the English accent and the isometric roguelike combat heavy third-person underworld escape genre, those were silly questions.
Oh, that makes sense.
I really thought that he hates English people.
It just seemed in character.
Okay, I'm glad that's the kind of energy I'm exuding. Although I think the discussion about Dark Souls was warranted because I think there are parallels to be drawn there, but I think Hades does it better in terms of that gameplay loop and incentivizing you to get back in there. They're both lovely games, and I enjoy the Dark Souls franchise too, but I think that's just an area that Hades really shines. So that was like half silly, half serious.
Yeah, the best mixture of silly and serious.
So does that mean I get to have you say the line?
It does.
Do you have anything you want to plug before you say the line?
I want to plug your local library. Go to your local library and find the Greek mythology section and whisper my name 3 times, my full name. You might have to, look within your heart to find it.
Stellica Gaming. Stellica Gaming.
And then the answer will come to you. What you need to know. It'll be there in your brain. And then check out some books.
That's a good plug. That's good.
Thank you. All right. NP, see you later.